A question on the minds of people who have went to horror conventions for years and haven't met Tom Savini always ask, is Tom Savini really a dick? Well, I'm here to tell you the results for me are semi inconclusive. Now, I've met Tom Savini twice. I've watched him meet people for years. I've walked by his table, watched him have interactions with people, and without fail, on message boards, on social media for years, 20 years. And Tom Savini's been signing at horror conventions longer than 20 years. But in the 18, almost 20 years that I've been going to horror conventions, I can say this with certainty. I don't think, intends to be a dick most of the time. I've met him twice. So meeting Tom Savini is now, he isn't very outgoing, and I guarantee, I know I've heard some people say, he is outgoing and he is forthcoming with more joyous conversation or excitement when you really connect with him on a level that isn't as a fan, or you just bring up something. I know he had an interesting conversation with a Vietnam veteran. I had seen someone post that they were a Vietnam veteran, and they went there. They brought their uncle or someone, whoever it was. This was on social media a long time ago, and Savini, obviously being a Vietnam veteran himself, had a great conversation with the people that were involved. I met Tom Savini for the first time in, I think, 2008 or 9. I think it was 2009. And I think I've told this story. Definitely told it on the podcast. And if the podcast link is in the description, you could check out all the episodes that we've done. We've discussed Savini and Romero World and everything for years, almost 10 years, 9 years we've been doing the podcast. But my friend Sean came at him semi-aggressively and walked up to his table as we were looking there for him to sign something. And my buddy Sean says to him, and Sean is a tall gentleman. He's a big dude. And he goes, "So you think anybody that watches any of the Friday the 13th beyond the first one's an idiot?" And that is how he came at him. And I can't remember, or no, it was after Final Chapter. He goes, "You think anybody that watches any of the Friday the 13th beyond Final Chapter is an idiot?" And I couldn't believe it. And it was just the nervous delivery of my friend Sean, who was also like semi calling him out. And Savini just says, "No, I never said that. I said that Jason was killed with a machete to the head, and it was the final chapter. There's no sense in continuing on the story." And Savini went on, and he kind of just was that. It was very matter of fact of it, and didn't like create like a stank. He still signed my buddy's. He still signed Sean's auto. Took a picture with him. Everything was copacetic, and he didn't really cause like any. He didn't like outwardly come at me. Like we met Tom Atkins like right before him, and Tom Atkins is strutting around, and he's talking to me. "You boys having Miller after this and watching Night of the Creeps? Is that what you're doing?" "Yeah, that's great that you're gonna do that." Atkins was very outgoing, very engaging with every fan that came up there, and he was hilarious and great, and he's still like that. And but Savini is much more calculated, laid back, and I can definitely see why people can take that as a business transaction with them, not necessarily a fan meeting someone that they admire, that they love their work, grew up loving their work. I understand where people can. Me personally, when I meet someone, I don't need a crazy conversation. I don't go out there, and I'm not having the conversation. And I know, like, some people, they go years wanting to meet certain people. You have these burning questions, even if they've been asked it 9 million times. You've never heard the answer personally in front of them, so you want to ask it, and blah 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 blah. Me personally, I've never had a crazy desire. Like, I asked Gunnar Hansen at the same con in 2008 or 9 about the same thing, or about something, a deep question about the mafia, money involved with distribution of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and why the rights and distribution was all like muddy and stuff like that. And Gunnar Hansen, he ended up building a line as he told me the story. And I didn't need a 15-minute story that Gunnar Hansen told, but it was very, now I'm so appreciative of it. I'm so appreciative that he gave that time and we had that conversation. And Gunnar Hansen's now passed away, but I don't need that every time. There are some transactions where I simply say, hey, how's your weekend going? Sometimes they'll ask me where I drove from. We'll have a quick conversation. And that's kind of it. And that's all I need. I want you to sign something. I don't really do pictures anymore. I did early con going years, but once they started charging for it, like I have no desire to pay someone for a picture. Like I usually have a piece of artwork, a movie poster, or I just see an 8x10 on their photo. I'd love to have an 8x10 by them sign. I have a very simple demand, like list of demands for when I get an autograph. Like I pay you, you sign it, you smile. That's kind of all I need. And then most of the time you don't even get the smile from some guests, which is fine. I can honestly say I've never really had a bad interaction with anybody. Sid Haig I had met, and he was a little I think someone at the time, this is Rock and Shock 2014, and I think someone had taken a picture with him and gotten something signed and bounced and didn't pay him. So I think he was, from what I was hearing at around Rock and Shock all day, was afterwards, because I was just like, damn, Sid Haig was kind of like a dick. And he was just like, he wasn't like an outward dick. He kind of just signed it, didn't really say much, and that was kind of it. And I was kind of fine with that. And like I thanked him, and he just kind of nodded his head, and that was it. And that was fine. And Bolo Young, when I met Bolo Young, who was the great Chong Li in Bloodsport, he kind of like was in character, like Chong Li character. Like he didn't say anything, and he was looking like this, and I was just like, he goes, Mr. Young, it's a pleasure to meet you. Trying to be super respectful. He's an older guy too. Like, and he just simply went, and he's wearing like a Adidas tracksuit. And he signed my Bloodsport poster, which I'll show. I think I've shown it on the channel before. He signed it right over, based on a true story. Like, fuck you, Frank Dukes. This isn't a fucking true story. And he signed it over there, and he had like a scribble, like some kind of, I'm guessing some something in his native tongue or his native language, alphabetical. I can't make it out, and I haven't looked in to see what it actually says, but he signed it on like the credits of the poster. I'm not sure what it was. At first, I thought he was just doing it to see if his pen worked, but it looks like it could be something. Maybe it's not. Maybe he's just like, fucking, I'll test it right on this poster. Fuck this kid. But I actually like that because he was in kind of Chong Li mode. But back to Savini. The second time I met Savini, and I took a picture with Savini. I picked out one of his 8x10s and he signed it. And the second time I met Savini was during COVID. He actually did the Mahoning Drive-In. If anybody knows, the Mahoning Drive-In is in Lehigh Valley. They did a big doc on it. Joe Bob did a jamboree there. It's one of the oldest drive-ins in the United States. The projectionist and long owner, I think, passed away just a few years ago. The people that worked there came together and now run it. They do movie nights all the time. Great old drive-in. So they had Sandy Johnson from the original Halloween, and they had Savini. And Savini and her were signing. And this is middle of COVID. This is October of 2020. So COVID's still a thing. It's going on. And it was an outdoor event, so they allowed it. Obviously, but everyone's still wearing masks. And Savini had just gotten over getting hit on his bicycle. He had broken ribs and stuff, and he was all messed up. But he was like on the road to recovery when I was meeting him. He was completely fine. Like not a lot of interaction. It was like, hey Tom, how's it going? He's like, hey. Kind of signed. He doesn't personalize stuff, which is a big point of contention with some fans. I get everything personalized because I don't sell any of my autographs. I haven't sold one thing I've gotten autographed. I have not sold. It's for me. It's always for me. Unless I'm getting some, and I have someone's poster with me and they're also getting it. I'm not selling it to them, just getting the auto for them because they can't attend the con with me. I haven't sold one autograph. and I'm really thinking about it now. I have not sold one single autograph. Most of my autographs are personalized. I would say 98% of them are personalized. There's a few people that don't personalize. I know Ken Foray doesn't personalize. I got his 8x10 there. Savini doesn't personalize. Someone asked Savini once. I heard this story secondhand, so you could take it for what you will. Savini said, someone asked Savini at a Q&A panel at a con he did probably, 10, 15 years ago, why he doesn't personalize stuff. And he goes, well, most people are selling it anyway, so I'm not going to personalize it. And he's just like, and why would I personalize something? I don't know you. Like, we aren't friends. Like, I'm just signing it. Like, it seems disingenuous to sign to you. I don't know your name. I won't remember your name, and I'm just signing it to you. Like, and so I kind of get that. He's a very wash and wear type guy. He's a very like that doesn't make sense. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? I kind of really understand that, but I can also understand why some fans would be rubbed wrong about that. Or with that, I can see why they would take it the wrong way. And some fans are super sensitive. Had a friend once, Brad Dourif didn't engage with him enough, and Brad Dourif was more off put by some crazy sound that was going on there, and he didn't really engage as much with my friend because he was very distracted by a loud sound. And a friend of mine was very off put by it, and I was just like, well, it wasn't really his fault. There was literally something very loud and it hurt his ear, and it kind of, so fans can be particular just like guests can be particular. So I don't have, but I've had 2 interactions with Savini, and I watched one of my friends kind of start shit to his face and try to get into it with him, and Savini kind of played it cool. So I think the bad fan interactions, they definitely exist. Where there's smoke, there's fire. I understand that. And I think that can be chalked up to a few different things. Long convention. I know some people have said, I was the 3rd person in his line and he was a dick to me. I think maybe people just roll up with these high expectations of how someone's going to be, and it kind of just falls apart from there. I've had 2 interactions with Savini. He doesn't seem like a bad guy. He just seems like a very dry, cut and dry guy, especially if he doesn't know you. We're all fans walking up to him. Granted, yes, he should be, everybody should be very grateful that he has the career he has because fans have followed him. He is, aside from, Rick Baker and Rob Bottin and he is the guy when it comes to special effects. And everybody, big horror fans, they know Howard Berger and Greg Nicotero and Everett Burrill and the John Voyages of the world and everything, and all these amazing special effects artists. But Savini is he's in the same ilk as Rick Baker and Rob Bottin, and dare I say, because those guys haven't they've been very infrequent over the last 30 years, that they'll have projects and big projects, especially not Rob Bottin's kind of fallen out completely, but obviously Rick Baker's done The Grinch, he's done The Wolfman. Obviously that was kind of a blunder in 2008 with his work on The Wolfman, but Savini is very involved with the con circuit, and he's very, he was in Planet Terror, and he was also acted and was in Dawn, and he was in Night Riders, and he's more involved with the horror community than say Rick Baker is. Rick Baker is involved because he's a legend, and he created some of the greatest effects in horror movies and movies in general. But Savini is very horror centric as far as he stayed involved and in the communal aspect of it, as far as going to cons, doing panels, doing special features on all the DVDs. You don't see a lot of Rick Baker special features on all of our Blu-rays and 4Ks and everything, do you? Unfortunately, not. Most of it is archival, if anything, with Rick Baker. But Savini is still very involved. So he is a forefront of the name of horror special effects by far. He is the A1. And I don't know, I just have not had that bad interaction with him. Like I said, I think people, especially if you go in with high expectations and he could cut you down quick. And then also people that are expecting him to be a dick, and then he's just kind of like normal, and they're like, yeah, he wasn't really outgoing or anything like that. But I'd say give the guy a little grace. He's also a Vietnam veteran, so you have to, like, give him a little extra grace too. He's seen some shit. And yeah, it's someone had, I can't remember if it was me or if it was someone else, but we had talked about Dead 90, and he's like, yeah, that, because he was going through a divorce and a tumultuous time. He was going through a really rough time personally when he was making Dead 90 on top of the studio, sticking their nose in and muddying the waters with that release and making them cut shit, the MPAA making them cut shit. So I don't hold those things, and I'm very conscious about, of that too. So if I walked up to Savini when I go to Living Dead weekend this weekend and I say something like, oh, Dead 90, blah, 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 maybe he has a different perspective on it. He did, new special features for the 4K that came out last year that Sony put out. So maybe he has a different outlook on Dead 90, but I know that was a point of contention with fans complimenting him on that and him not giving, I guess, the desired response when Dead 90 was brought up. But we'll see. I know when people have complimented his when people have complimented his acting or talked about the acting roles, I think he's very engaging in that. So yes, is Savini a dick? Probably. He's probably a dick. Has he been a dick to the two times that I've met him? No. He seems like like I said, a very cut and dry individual. It's as simple as that. Like, I don't know you. Why would I personalize this? Doesn't make sense. So I completely get that. Again, I think fans go in with a little bit higher expectations. Have you met Tom Savini? If you've met Tom Savini, did you have a good interaction? Did you have a bad interaction? Did you have an indifferent interaction with Tom Savini? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear people's interactions with Tom Savini. Am I off? Did I catch him on just like a normal day where he just kind of seemed like even keel, like homeostasis, not up, not down, but just kind of like, hey, how you doing? Like, and kind of business transaction and one and done. Pay for your gas. You get 5 gallons of gas and you leave. I don't know. Am I wrong? But I'm also acknowledging that I know that there's stories out there of people not having pleasant interactions with Savini. But let me know in the comments, have you met Savini? Did you have a good interaction, a bad interaction, or just kind of an indifferent one, or just a normal, like, cut and dry transaction? Did you want more? Did you desire a better conversation? I don't know. I don't fault Savini at all. I'm a huge fan. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you've met him and explain your position on Tom Savini. Is he a dick, or is he just a normal guy that maybe doesn't like exactly, getting asked a million questions and going to the cons, and you get in your 8th, 9th hour of doing it on the 2nd or 3rd day? Is anybody going to be perfect? No. But let me know your interactions with Tom Savini below. I figured this would be a fun video. Again, all respect to Tom Savini. Much love. I've had nothing but okay interactions with him. They weren't bad at all. They weren't like, he wasn't like outgoing or anything like that. And I don't need someone to be. I'm paying you, sign your name, and then that's it. I also didn't want to push it and be like, can you personalize it to me? Because then I think that's where maybe some of the vitriol comes in, and the conversations about him being a dick. Maybe if I said, hey, can you sign this to Jesse? He says, no, I don't know you. Why would I do that? Here you go. So maybe that's where it comes in. Does that happen? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, I don't think I'm meeting him at Living Dead weekend because I've met him twice. But who knows? Maybe I'll get a wild hair at my ass and try to go for a 3rd time's a charm, and maybe I'll get the desired Savini's a dick interaction. But again, I've never had a bad interaction with anybody, I don't think. I've seen bad interactions, but I haven't had one with other people, with other guests. But yeah, let me know in the comments your Savini interactions if you've had them, and we'll see you on the next one.